All right, old school NBA fans, self-research, NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. Before I get into the video, I just want to say some of you guys have commented on the jerseys and whatnot on the wall. And real quick, just wanted to say that the white jersey here is a 1998 All-Star jersey. And then the red one is a 1989 All-Star jersey. And I just acquired a starting lineup of John Stockton and Karl Malone. I found that in an antique store that I was just shopping with my parents and my wife yesterday. And I was like, cool, for $8, put it up on my wall. And I also have David Robinson's rookie starting lineup. And then I have Michael Jordan's rookie starting lineup. That one's actually worth a little bit of money. I got that for my birthday. That's a Walter Payton pop. And then over here is also a Walter Payton pop. Some of you people have asked about it. I figured I would just say what they were. But yeah, as I get this stuff, I'll just keep putting it up. I love it. I think it's awesome. And then, of course, most of you guys know Michael Jordan fans are the best. He had a debate league last year. And anyway, I got first place on it, 2024 right there. And then he also had a trivia contest. And that's what this trophy right here is. And then, of course, this shirt, which gets more attention than anything, I just found it in a thrift store. And it literally said, "We ain't afraid of," and I just took that out and I had my wife iron on, "LeBron ain't." And I just thought it was cool. And a lot of you guys seem to like it. At some point, I probably am going to make shirts that'll have my logo maybe on the front, and I'll have that on the back of the shirt. Probably in the coming months, I'll throw something together like that. To the video at hand. This is directly to anybody like a Nick Wright or an FYF Sports, anybody who's ever said that, well, Michael Jordan had this unbelievable great roster, and of course he won. But I'm going to show you that his roster was no better, if not worse, than the best teams of all time. So first, let's just go ahead and throw up the 1996 Bulls. They got the best record of all time, regular season playoff winning percentage at 87%. So obviously, Michael Jordan was 32 years old, and I'm just going by when the season started. 32 years old. He won the MVP, the scoring title, was first team all defense. I know he did more than that, but I couldn't really fit it all to describe Jordan. Scottie Pippen, age 30, a top 75 player. Yeah, he was first team all NBA and first team all defense. Dennis Rodman was age 34, also a top 75 player. He was first team all defense and won the rebound title. That's all nice stuff. But now you're getting into the not so super part of this alleged super team. Tony Kukoc, who I will not acknowledge as an NBA Hall of Famer. I know he's in the Basketball Hall of Fame, but somebody who never even made one All-Star is not a legitimate NBA Hall of Famer. And no, it's not all about All-Stars, but he never led the league in anything. He never made All-League. He never averaged double digits in assists or rebounds or 20 points per game. He's just a role player. He was a good one, but come on. So he won Sixth Man of the Year. In 96, 13.1 points per game. He was shooting 40.3% from three-point. That's really good. But again, he was coming off the bench. Ron Harper, 32 years old, never made any All-League, never made an All-Star, nothing. 8.8 points per game in the playoffs. Luke Longley, 27 years old. Again, never won anything, never got any accolades of any kind. 9.1 points per game and 5.1 rebounds per game. That's your starting center in the mid-90s. 9 points and 5 rebounds. Okay, but that's a super team. Steve Kerr was 30. He never got any accolades at all. I know he did win like two three-point percentage titles, I guess. 8.4 points per game, 44.8% from three. Now that's really good. That's your top 7 players. There they are. Why don't we compare that to the 1967 Philadelphia 76ers? They got to be one of the 10 best teams of all time because they have the 5th best winning percentage of all time. They had the best record before 1972. So that's about 25 years. They were the best team. They consisted of the player who's in bold is the best player. So this is the supporting cast he was working with. And also the ages matter. Wilt Chamberlain was 30 years old, so he's in his prime. He won the MVP, 24 points, 24 rebounds, 7.8 assists per game. So obviously he had a monster season. Hal Greer was 30, also a top 75 player. He was second team All-NBA, and he was their leading scorer in the playoffs at 27.7 points per game. That's awesome to have a teammate in the playoffs get you 27.7. Chet Walker, 26 years old. He's a Hall of Famer. That year, he was an all-star, averaged 19.3 points per game and 8.1 rebounds. That's amazing for your third best player. How about Billy Cunningham, 23 years old. He's a top 75 player, an ABA MVP, 18.5 points per game, 7.3 rebounds from your fourth best player. Luke Jackson was 25. He was a one-time all-star, 12 points, 9 rebounds a game. That must be awesome. Wally Jones, age 24. He never won any accolades or anything, but he was a very good guard. 17.5 points per game in the playoffs. Imagine having all that. And then you got Larry Costello, who was 35, obviously past his prime, a 6-time All-Star. He was giving you about 8 points and shooting 90% from the free throw line coming off the bench. But that's a squad right there. The average age of those players is 27.5. In fact, everybody was 30 or under except for Larry Costello. I would say without batting an eye that this is a better supporting cast than Michael Jordan had in 1996. That's just my opinion. But those 6 guys, top to bottom, all things considered, were better. The 1971 Milwaukee Bucks, they had, I think, the second best point differential of all time, a 66-win team. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the best player, he was only 23. He's obviously a top 75. He's a top 5 player. He won the MVP and the scoring title. He had Oscar Robertson at 32 years old, who's a top 75 player. He finished 5th for MVP, giving you 19.4 points and 8.2 assists. Bob Dandridge, 23 years old. He's in the Hall of Fame, 18.4, 8 rebounds a game. John McLaughlin, 27, one-time All-Star, 15.8 points per game. Greg Smith, 24, he never got anything, 11.7 points, 7.2 rebounds. Bob Boozer was 33. He was an All-Star once. 9.1 points per game, 5.4 rebounds. And then Lucius Allen, very young, 23, giving you 7.3 points and 3.7 assists. Now, he did make a couple top 24 MVPs in his career. The average age is 26.4. And again, compare that to what Michael Jordan's supporting cast was. Maybe at the very top, you could say between like Pippen and Rodman or something. All right, maybe that's pretty close. But after that, no. Kareem had a better supporting cast on the 71 Bucks. I don't know how you can dispute that. The 72 Lakers, loaded. The best player was Jerry West because he finished second for MVP that year, but it was close. It was kind of a co-best player thing, but we're going to call Jerry West the best player. 33 years old, top 75, obviously. Second for MVP that year. He was first team all-defense. Well, Wilt Chamberlain was 35 years old, but he's got to be close to still in his prime because he was third for MVP, first team all-defense. Well, I'd say right off the bat, that's better than Pippen. Gail Goodrich, 28 years old. He's a Hall of Famer. He was an all-star getting you 26 points a game. Now, you can argue about who's better, Rodman or Goodrich, but all things considered, I would say at best it's even, but I think Goodrich maybe with the 26 points, your second best teammate is getting you 26 points a game. I mean, that's just the luxury. Michael Jordan never even had one guy doing stuff like that. But then you got Jim McMillan, 23 years old, getting you 18.8 points, 6.5 rebounds. Happy Hairston, 29 years old, 13.1 points, 13.1 rebounds. That's the guy who's comparable to Rodman. And then you still got Gail Goodrich. Flynn Robinson coming off the bench, 30 years old. He was a one-time All-Star. He's getting you 10 points per game. He was about an 86% free throw shooter, which is good. And then Pat Riley was 26, getting you 6.7 points per game. That's about like having a Steve Kerr. But all things considered, it's not even close in my mind. 72 Lakers easily had a better roster, and Jerry West had a better supporting cast. The 1983 Philadelphia 76ers. They were 65-17. Moses Malone, the best player. Obviously a top 75. He won the MVP, the rebound title, first team all defense. His best teammate, Dr. J, was 32. I think he was 2 years before he won the MVP himself. He was 5th for MVP, first team All-NBA. Then you got Maurice Cheeks, 26 years old. He's in the Hall of Fame, an All-Star, first team All-Defense. Andrew Toney, 25 years old. He's a 2-time All-Star. He was an All-Star that year, giving you 19.7 points per game as the 4th best player on the team, or 5th, because you got Bobby Jones, 31. He's in the Hall of Fame, mostly because of defense. He was first team All-Defense. Then you can compare him to Dennis Rodman. And then you still got Dr. J to compare to Pippen. But then what's left? Maurice Cheeks, Andrew Toney. These guys are just way better than a bad need Ron Harper and Luke Longley or Kukoc. Anybody you want to put in there? Clint Richardson, 26 years old. He actually started sometimes. He was giving you 7.6 points per game, about like Kerr. Mark Iavaroni, 26, giving you 5.2 points, 4.4 rebounds. That's their roster. To me, it's not even a question. Of course, the 76ers in 83 had a much better roster, and Moses Malone had a much better supporting cast. 1986 Boston Celtics. Larry Bird, the best player. He was 29 years old, obviously top 75. He won the MVP, 25.8 points per game, 9.8 rebounds, 6.8 assists. That's a great year for Bird. He had Kevin McHale at 28, top 75. He was an all-star and first-team all-defense that year. Robert Parrish, 32 years old, also top 75. He was an all-star, getting you 16 points, 9.5 rebounds. Dennis Johnson, 31, Hall of Famer, second-team all-defense, getting you 15.6 points per game. Danny Ainge, 26, a one-time all-star. He averaged 15.6 points, and I think that's supposed to be 5.2 assists in the playoffs. Then you got Bill Walton coming off the bench. He's 33. I know he's had injuries, but that particular year, he held it together. Obviously, top 75. This is a former MVP, finals MVP, 7.9 points per game, 6.4 rebounds in the playoffs. Jerry Sichting, 29, 6.5 points per game, shot 92.4% from the free throw line in the playoffs. The average age is 29.7. As you can note, every team is younger, and they're just better. The 1987 Lakers, Magic the best player, they're 65-17. He won the MVP, 24 points, and the assist title that year. James Worthy was 25, top 75. He was an all-star, getting you 19.4 points per game. Kareem was 39, an all-star that year, 17.5 points per game. You got Byron Scott, 25 years old, as your third, maybe fourth best teammate, getting you 17 points a game, shooting 43.6 from three-point line. Michael Cooper, 30 years old. He's a Hall of Famer now. Defensive Player of the Year, getting you 13 points, 5 assists in the playoffs. That's got to be an unbelievable feeling. How about AC Green? He was a one-time All-Star and also one-time All-Defense. 11.5 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game, which I believe led the team in rebounds. Oh, and as your seventh man, you got Michael Thompson, who was 32, 10.1 points per game coming off the bench as your seventh man. It's a sick joke to not say the 87 Lakers had a way better roster with a way better supporting cast for Magic. If you gave Michael Jordan the supporting cast, they would have probably won 80 games. I'm just kidding. But, I mean, you see my point. The 2001 Lakers. Now, the record isn't as good, but a lot of people are high on them because of their playoff run. I don't put as much stock into just the playoff run, but in this particular case, because of the injuries that Shaq, Kobe, and Derek Fisher had, all right, I can buy into this one. So the 2001 Lakers might be the only team comparable, but at the very top, they got 2 top 10 all-time players. Shaq is the best player at 28 years old. He was third for MVP, giving you 28.7 points, 12.7 rebounds. Kobe, the second best player, only 22, but he's first team All-NBA, second team All-Defense. He's a top 75 player. Derek Fisher was 26. He was getting you 13.4 points per game in the playoffs. Rick Fox was 31, getting you 10 points in the playoffs. Robert Horry was 30. He's getting you about 6 points and 5 rebounds in the playoffs. Horace Grant was 35, past his prime, but 4-time All-Defense, 6 points, 6 rebounds in the playoffs. And then Brian Shaw at 34 is getting you 5.3 points per game. When you look at players 3 through 7, you would say the Bulls are comparable, maybe a little better. I agree. But Kobe Bryant, how much better is he than Scottie Pippen? I mean, way better. I think this is a wash in my mind. But you guys tell me. 2017 Warriors, and all these people think, oh, what an amazing team. They were 73-9. Then they added Durant. They got to be the best team. It's not how it works, people. That is not how it works at all. We'll never know how good they were. A lot has to do with Parker and Kawhi Leonard getting hurt. If they were both healthy in the Western Conference Finals, we would have saw an entirely different series, and Golden State would have been tested. How they responded to that would have told you a lot about how good that team really was. We're never going to know for sure. But Steph Curry is the best player at 28 years old. Second team All-NBA, averaged 25.3 points per game. So you got another guy who's basically just as good, getting you 25.1 points per game, second team All-NBA. He was also 28. You got Klay Thompson, who's 26. In his career, he has 2 times he was All-NBA. That year, he was 22.3 points per game, shooting 41.4 from 3. Draymond Green, at 26 years old, a 9-time All-Defensive Player, won Defensive Player of the Year, a steals title, 13 points per game in the playoffs. You got Andre Iguodala, a Finals MVP, and I think he's a 2-time All-Defensive Player, was giving you 7.6 points per game. Sean Livingston at 31 is giving you 5.2 points per game in the playoffs. And Zaza Pachulia, which is the de facto center, 6 points, 5.9 rebounds per game. Now, those bottom 2 or 3 guys is probably comparable to the Bulls, but come on. Durant, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Iguodala, these guys all have credentials. Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, second team All-NBAs. And Klay Thompson's also got all defense. Curry and Durant are both top 25 all-time players. Bulls only got one of those. So absolutely, no question, the 2017 Warriors had a better roster top to bottom, and Curry had a way better supporting cast. And then if you just flash up the 97 Bulls, which is essentially the 96 Bulls just a year older. Now, they were 69-13. Jordan's 33 years old. He won a scoring title, first team All-Defense. Pippen is 31. He was second team All-NBA and first team All-Defense. Dennis Rodman, 35 years old now. At the start of the season, he was 36 come playoff time. He did still win a rebound title, but he only averaged 8.4 rebounds per game in the playoffs. That's it. Tony Kukoc, his best award in his career, Sixth Man of the Year. He averaged 13.2 points per game in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he was under 10 points per game. Ron Harper has given you 7.5 points per game. Luke Longley, same thing, 9 points, 5.5 rebounds. Steve Kerr at 31 years old has given you 8 points per game. He has an amazing three-point percentage, but these guys are giving you 7, 8, 9 points per game. That's what they're giving you. Rodman, even less than that. But you stack up this 96 or 97 Bulls team, either one, against the best teams of all time. Now, I could have also put up the 89 Pistons, the 85 Lakers. There's other teams that deserve to be on there. I even thought about putting the 2013 Miami Heat on there, but they're not a top 10 all-time team. But just to show the roster, Jordan's supporting cast versus LeBron. You got Dwayne Wade versus Pippen. No-brainer right there. You got Bosh versus Rodman. A wash at best. And you got Ray Allen. You got Mario Chalmers is probably comparable to like a Ron Harper or a Steve Kerr, in that range, something like that. Udonis Haslem. These guys are all comparable. But I believe because of how good Dwayne Wade was and Chris Bosh was, and you even got to pick up Ray Allen, that even the 2013 Miami Heat had a better supporting cast than what Jordan had. But yet they had the best result ever in the history of the NBA. I just don't want to hear anything more about this. Go amazing roster and all this stuff. It really wasn't as great as what people say. Compared to the all-time greats, I just showed you. Tell me what team, aside from maybe the 01 Lakers, which I would say is probably a wash, all things considered, was a team had a worse supporting cast than Michael Jordan did on any of the teams I showed you. I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. So anyway, that's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would be great. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. I give daily content. And that's it. Until next time.